My name is Jeff Light. I'm currently the president here at RecreateAI, and we produce ScheduleBot. So I actually have a pretty long background in this world of home services and also computer science. So really feel like this has been a great fit for me here at Recreate. When I graduated from college, I graduated with a computer science degree. Got a great job right out of college where I moved to Silicon Valley, wrote operating systems for a big computer company. You know, I didn't graduate from college thinking that I would own a marketing company, but actually just through the twists and turns of my career, I started doing paid search for a couple of home service companies and really just kind of took to it like a duck to water. Really a pretty large marketing company that was focused specifically on home services. At one point we were, managing probably 200 clients. I was the president of that company and really sort of the founder and managed it for about 12 years. So what I was seeing in the home services space that really caught my attention and really opened up my eyes to the possibility of something like ScheduleBot was this. So I was managing, marketing for hundreds of home service companies, and oftentimes I would get calls from some of my clients, and they would say things like, "Jeff, we need more calls, we need more jobs, we don't have our people booked." So I would review their marketing campaigns, looking for areas for improvement. But one of the things that we did is we were tracking phone calls early on as part of this process as far as managing their marketing goes. 30 or 40% of their calls would go unanswered. And that's, of course, a huge hole. That's a huge revenue leak for these companies. So oftentimes it wasn't that they needed better marketing, it's that they needed a better internal process as far as answering those calls and getting those jobs booked. Now, in this world of AI, it's different, okay? The AI understands natural language. It's a new way of programming where you can train this artificial intelligence to really understand what you're saying and respond in a really reasonable way. And not only respond, but get better over time. So once I made the connection that the power of AI, specifically when it comes to understanding and responding to natural language, I knew at that point that there was a solution that we could offer the call center to solve this problem of missing calls, of not answering calls after hours, so that we could get more jobs booked, get more jobs on their dispatch board, and really fill those revenue holes. So why is scheduling such a hard problem to solve? And honestly, sometimes it's not that hard of a problem to solve. I'd like to tell everybody out there, give me 2 hours and I will double the number of jobs you're getting booked off your website, right? Sometimes it's just that simple, but oftentimes it's not simple. And when it's not simple, it's because the devil's in the details, right? So every home service company, while they all need jobs scheduled, they don't all do things exactly the same way. And that's where some of the complexity comes in and some of the difficulties. The other thing that I would say is that, companies run on all kinds of software. Not everyone is running the same piece of software out there. So we've got to make sure that ScheduleBot can speak that language that all those other software products speak. Because it's really important that our stuff is integrated in their back-end systems, because we want this to be as seamless as possible for them. So really, it's not your job to change the way that you guys run your business to match the way that our software works. So some of the problems that people get wrong when they think about AI automation is they expect this plug-and-play miracle. And they think that they've heard all these buzzwords, they know they've got to implement AI. They go out and they purchase an AI system, they plug it in, but yet they don't make any changes internally to truly leverage the AI system. What we want to make sure you do is that you install the right AI systems. We give it the proper focus and we make sure that you're getting what you expect from that system. It's not about just going out and checking an AI box, right? It's truly improving your business, improving your processes, and getting more revenue in and getting more jobs booked. That's what'll make a difference. One of the reasons we decided to focus on scheduling first and produce this product called ScheduleBot is honestly just due to my experience being a marketer for 12 years for home service companies. I managed marketing campaigns for hundreds of clients over the years and saw them spend oftentimes hundreds of thousands of dollars a month doing what? Driving those phone calls, driving those leads, driving those customers calling the business to schedule service. And then along with that, I often saw them not answering their phones correctly, or the phones rolling over to an after-hours call center, and they weren't effectively getting those calls booked. So what was that? Those were opportunities that's slipping through the cracks. And That's when I saw the opportunity for ScheduleBot. It's going to book as well as your most highly trained CSRs. Oftentimes, our companies, they don't need more marketings. They just need to take care of the leads that are already coming in an effective way and get those jobs booked and get that revenue into the business. So thinking back to some of our very first customers and their reaction to ScheduleBot, honestly, it was pretty incredible. And in a way, they didn't believe what they were seeing. We were working with companies that were used to seeing conversion rates of 25 to 35% through their online forms. And when we install ScheduleBot and their conversion rate often doubles, jumps to 70% or even higher, there was a little bit of disbelief at first, a little bit of this is too good to be true. But when they drilled down into the details, the results were there. So our long-term vision is going to continue to focus on different features and functions that we believe will bring more revenue into our customer base. For example, one of the things that we'll be releasing in the next couple of months is outbound automation for what we call second chance leads. Second chance leads are a really cool feature of ScheduleBot that allows our customers really kind of two shots at getting a customer booked. Now, we've got some bigger plans, and I'm not really ready to spill the beans on everything that we're looking at in the future, but you can rest assured that everything that we do will be about bringing more revenue in the doors for our customers. So how is AI going to change the way that home service companies operate as a whole in the future? That's a big question. I will tell you this. So going back in time, say 12 or 13 years, I would be doing presentations to home service companies, talking about their websites and their advertising plans. And I would bring them, I'd hold up my cell phone, I would show them my cell phone. Hey, we've got to get you guys optimized to take advantage of this phone platform. People are going to be looking for your company on their phone. They're going to be scheduling on your phone. AI is just like that right now. So right now I'm talking to customers about their AI booking systems. And sometimes I'll hear some feedback like, Jeff, our customers just aren't ready for AI. No, they don't want to talk to a computer. I'm telling you, it's going to be like the cell phone of 12 years ago. It's coming. Integrations are really a huge part of ScheduleBot because what we want to do is we're trying to make this as easy for our customers as possible to get these jobs booked and get them on their dispatch board. We'd like to take the human kind of interaction out of it. Not that we don't like humans, right? We love our team members. But there's no need for us to, for example, push a job to a customer with a text or an email when we can use an API to just drop the job on the customer's dispatch board. So we want to make it as easy and efficient as we possibly can for our customers to get those jobs on their dispatch board. Another reason why integrations are so important for us is we want to make sure that ScheduleBot has got the features and functions to do business the way that our customers want to do business and not force them into a model that we support. In other words, we're going to give more and more configuration options to allow people to configure ScheduleBot to really become a more and more integral part of our company's strategies going forward. The best feedback that our customers are giving us is referring us to their friends, right? And other similar companies, but we do have regular communication. They're all ecstatic about what they're getting. And I will tell you this, one of the things that's a little different about our company is we don't require a 12-month contract. Our companies are pretty much free to leave whenever. It does require a small notice because we do want to try to save the relationship, but our companies are with us because they believe in what we're doing. Companies that ScheduleBot is integrated into include systems, of course, like ServiceTitan, but we also work with companies like Job Nimbus, Housecall Pro, AccuLinks, and honestly others. If they've got an open API, we will build the integration so we can drop those jobs on your dispatch board for you. So there are several options with regards to AI companies, and so why should you use ScheduleBot? So one of the things that I'd like to point out is I've been on the receiving end of tons of sales presentations. Everybody's trying to get me to sign this long 12-month contract. And I don't know if the system, honestly, I don't know if it's going to work or not. So I want to tell these types of companies, hey, if your stuff is so great, why are you making me sign this 12-month contract in blood where I've got to pay you for 12 months, whether your system does what you says it will or not? And yes, so it's up to me to do my due diligence. But signing those 12-month contracts has never been something I'm comfortable with, and no one's comfortable doing that. So right off the bat, it's for ScheduleBot, we don't require that. our customers can honestly, we always have an early out clause in our contracts. Now that said, we have very few customers that ever have taken us up on that. Our customers love us, and the only time a customer really exercises that clause is because they're making so much money they get purchased by a PE organization, so the ownership changes. But I would like to point out the fact that a 12-month contract is not something you're going to be held to here. So we're willing to work for our customers, implement our solutions, show you what ScheduleBot can do for you, all without the guarantees of a long-term 12-month contract. So what would I say to companies that are hesitant to implement ScheduleBot? It really can boil down to some really simple things. First of all, check some references. I'm happy to provide you with a couple of customers that you can talk to talk about their success with ScheduleBot. The other thing I would say is that oftentimes companies say, hey, Jeff, well, how do I know this is going to work? Or what's my guarantee? So guys, it's hard for me to provide a guarantee, but what I can do is this. I can implement ScheduleBot for you without the guarantee of a long-term contract, okay? We're happy to implement ScheduleBot. If it doesn't work, give us notice and we'll part friends. But guess what? It's gonna work, right? You're gonna get more jobs booked. So if you're hesitant or you're not sure how AI can help your business, let's book a meeting. Let me do a demonstration. Let me show you how ScheduleBot can work for your business.